Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video we are continuing with communication in relationships. So let's have a look at the topic for this video, which is having a look at the consequences that suppressing things inside yourself can create within a relationship. So in having a look at the suppressing of things inside yourself, when you're looking at things, dealing with things, processing things. And I mean, if you have a look at also literally the space that you have in your head, it's very small with having a look at how many things you face on a day-to-day basis. I mean, every single day is essentially a new day, but somehow we can fit like a lot of things in this head of ours in having a look at sometimes things happened days ago, weeks ago, months ago, and it still keeps coming up in your thoughts and your emotions. And I mean, the things start accumulating and compounding and then kind of dragging the past with you and having to face new things that's opening up in your daily life, and all of this can become quite overwhelming. Now imagine that you have yourself and your partner as well, and your communication with yourself and with each other had not yet been genuinely established, on that intimate level of trusting yourself and one another to really share things, to really open up things, to look at problems and issues and things like that together. So now let's say this is the space in your mind and this is present time, and that's your everyday things that you have to deal with, right? That you also think about and react to. In addition to that, both of you are bringing things into the present from the past, and I mean, it can be a complete, shall I say, like a burden that both of you are carrying with you. And not only that, but I mean, even sometimes, when having a look at a relationship, even within the beginning stages, the first couple of months, that there are things both of you are carrying in your minds from the past, that could, in the present here, contribute to how you think, to how you experience yourself, to how you behave. And the thing is, if neither of you have context of each other's pasts or the real things that you're dealing with and processing and looking at, things in the present can come out, in how you say things, what you do, how you do them, how you behave, that can be misinterpreted by one another, because neither have any context of one another and what's really going on behind the scenes. And fascinatingly enough, the suppression of things that you think about, look at, and process inside yourself can, in little moments come through emotionally, where you have a short temper, where you become irritated quickly, where you become frustrated, where it sometimes just feels like, you want your space, where it's like sometimes it feels like, your partner is too much on top of you. Other times where it's like you just want to get out, you just want to go and take a walk. Other times you're just going to complete resistance with your partner. I mean, it can even falter into, for example, when the two of you are having sex, where it's also, when it comes to sex, you don't even want to open up. You're resisting sex, you're resisting closeness, intimacy on a physical level, all right? So therefore, in having a look at how past things that you're processing inside your mind and the suppression thereof can affect your present relationship with one another, right? There's your partner. It can affect your present relationship that you have right here with accepting and allowing these past suppressions to stay inside yourself, right? So in terms of opening up this door for yourself, your partner, the relationship, you know, obviously what is most needed first and foremost, and this is something that we touched on in previous videos, is to do some self-introspection, right? In having a look at what things are weighing heavy in your thoughts and in your emotions inside yourself. What have you been afraid of admitting to yourself, opening up inside yourself, introspecting, you know, where for a long time you've just been keeping these things inside, or you've been trying to keep these things inside. But the outflow of that into your present life, your present experience, you know, can affect your relationship with your partner negatively, right? Negatively meaning that it's like these things will kind of always be in the back of your mind, you know, and you can try as hard as you can to keep yourself as normal and ordinary as possible in present time. But I mean, over time, you know, because again, you know, we only have such a small head, and every single day brings its new challenges. These things are just going to become more and more and more intense inside yourself, which is going to be more and more difficult to suppress, to keep inside, to be locked inside. I mean, many people develop coping mechanisms for it. You know, in some way or another, find moments where you just forget about all the things that you're dealing with or processing or looking at, and just try as hard as you can to keep your mind in the present. But again, I mean, that's not living. That's almost exhausting. You know, trying to constantly just find ways to make everything as okay and ordinary as possible, and not have these things in the back of your head influence your present relationship. So therefore, I mean, these points can also cause a miscommunication within the relationship, a misinterpretation, in terms of, I mean, it's actually quite interesting, you know, that in like the beginning of relationships as well, where the two kind of get a feel for one another. You know, this is actually within relationships where communication should flourish, in terms of sharing with one another. You know, yes, once you've gotten to that comfort level with one another, in terms of spending time together and getting to know one another, in sharing who you are as a person, you know, your past experiences, difficulties, challenges that you faced, what things in your present life are you still dealing with, you know, or struggling with, or trying to correct, you know, who are you as a person? Because in sharing things like that, both of you can get more of a sense of one another, you know, in terms of why you sometimes are like resistant in terms of, you know, just needing your space. You know, this usually happens to you when, you know, you are going through something difficult inside yourself, and, you know, you need just the breathing space in reality, and also just to give yourself some time to look at things. And when you're going through this, you just ask your partner, look, this is what's happening right now. Give me my space. It's not personal. I will share it with you once I've, you know, gone through what I can, you know, rather than walking one day, you know, coming back from work or spending a weekend with your partner, and then, you know, you're kind of like offish toward them. I mean, if they don't have context or understanding of who are you in that moment, they're going to take it personally, or come to their own assumptions or ideas and things like that, and then create a personality of you in their mind, because they don't have that depth or intimacy or understanding of what it is that you're really going through. All right. So essentially what we're having a look at in this video is assisting and supporting yourself and one another to ensure that you don't create ideas, assumptions, or interpretations of one another when you suddenly change in how you're communicating or behaving or interacting in some way or another. Right, so have a look, both of you, and this is a practical application process for this interview video, is to have a look at, are there moments when the two of you are different, you know, suddenly, just out of the blue, where you can hear there's a change in voice tonality. you can see in each other's faces that something is up. Something in the behavior is changing. Something in your interaction, your sex is changing. I mean, these are things you want to have a baseline for your relationship. A baseline meaning where you know what is normal between the two of you, and if anything starts changing, that you guys start coming together and going, okay, what's going on? Why are we starting to live past one another? Why aren't we having as much sex as we had before? Why aren't we going out so much anymore? It's like we're slowly but surely moving apart. And that slow but sure moving apart usually happens when this past and present things that's going on inside your heads is taking over, and you're more in your head than living here with one another in communication and interaction and also fun. All right. So therefore, that's one sign that you can have a look at, in that, both of you or one of you is too much trying to do things and work through things alone instead of communicating it with one another. And then the other point to see where a moment if your partner changes and you start already just thinking about, they're like this or they're being like that, or, I'll just stay away from them, or, you take it personal in some way or another. It's like a flag point inside yourself where you have to go, whoa, I don't have context of what my partner is going through. Let me rather ask and have them open up. And this also takes both of you that has to make this decision in the relationship. That if one or the other asks, hey, I've noticed this change in you. I have for a moment taken it personally and reacted to it, but, I'd like to be here for you. So what's happening? Open up to me. All right. So this is for this video, and we'll continue more in the next. Thank you very much.